Would the world benefit from a global pandemic? It's a fair question. Although it might look tempting to the masses, the answer to the initial question is no. With our current medical and sanitation knowledge, even something like the Black Death would probably have a maximum mortality rate of 20%. Now that's massive, but still only a temporary blip when compared to population growth rates. But that's just numbers. There'd be utter chaos around the world with devastating consequences for the environment. Consider one aspect. Our society is hugely dependent on electricity to survive, and our electricity infrastructure is heavily centralized around key generation and distribution hubs. With a contagious and lethal illness doing the rounds, a huge number of people aren't going to show up to work for fear of getting sick. And that means our electricity infrastructure stops working. What happens next? People start running home generators on petrol and diesel, chopping down trees to burn for heating, figuring out all manner of individual responses for the things that electricity provides. Urban and suburban parks get completely denuded of trees, larger national parks get hammered, and the air gets clogged with smoke and particle matter, and so on and so on. Ultimately, the environmental impact of the collapse of the electricity network is much larger than the continuation of our imperfect system. And that's just electricity. Think about all the other complex centralized systems on which we rely, things that if we were forced to deal with individually would have a huge environmental impact. It would take centuries to recover from the environmental problems created by this collapse. So leaving all moral questions aside, looking at this exclusively as a question of effectiveness, will the world benefit from a global epidemic? No, the opposite in fact. If we want to control our population, the only effective way is through the tried, tested, often undermined and distinctly unsexy ways we've been working at for years. Distributing contraception, building medical knowledge, and strengthening society and economies. It isn't cool, it takes a really long time, but it's the only way that works. And one more thing. Children still need to be born. Economies need people to create workers. If you decide that having children is not right for you, that's fine. But if you do feel that way, please don't get angry at the immigrants who come into your country and add to the population. If you view having children as slavery, that's okay, but don't be angry at those people who do not feel the same.